wonderful people. Happy Friday. Good morning, Saffron, Eric, Bunch. Purple Bros. Hope you're all doing well today. To all of you lurkers as well. Good to see all of you here. It's Friday. We made it through another one. We are one day closer to the end of 2020. Not that ending the year fixes anything, but good to put this year behind us for a lot of reasons, huh? So today, we'll be pretty chill. We're going to do a little feedback for people looking to get feedback on sounds and tracks. And what else are we doing? We're going to let's see here. I think I already took care of all of those notes. There we go. So we'll do some feedback, and we're going to do a fun little kind of track challenge that I haven't done for a little while. It's lots of fun, though. It's kind of similar to something that I used to do in live shows, and I think you guys are going to like it. So let me just toss a couple things up here on the board. Happy Friday. Okay, so feedback. All right, so we will do some feedback. Subs first, one at a time. If you've already had one thing reviewed, and wait patiently if you have another one that you want to get ears on. I'm happy to do more than one for you, especially if you're a sub. And we will also be doing a little, I don't really like calling them track challenges or beat challenge because they can end up being pretty much anything. We'll just call this a new challenge. So I remember to kind of introduce it and explain how this works. It's fun. All right. I don't know if you guys can actually see all of that. There you go. What's up, Ricky? All right. So before we jump into the new challenge stuff, because I want to make sure that we've got a bunch of people here for that. I think everyone already knows how to manage the whole feedback thing. So if you are wanting ears on a track or just a single sound or anything in between, hit me up, drop links in the chat, and I'll circle back and get to it as quickly as possible. So this new challenge, I used to do these shows where I love improv. I love not having any kind of a net, right? And nothing rehearsed and just fly by the seat of your pants. And for a very long time when I was younger, I wondered, how do you get past the, what's the right word for it? I guess maybe the temptation to prepare, or most people prepare when they're doing improv stuff, right? They rehearse a whole bunch and then they go out there and they perform to the best of their ability, within gentle boundaries of what they've been practicing. What I have always wanted to chase is the true improv, right? Like improv comedy, right? Like sketch comedy acts. And it dawned on me one day that the audience can make all of it happen. So the way that it would work is there would be like a recorder, that I would record, someone saying something, or, just hold a microphone up and they would say something. I'd sample their voice or whatever. And it just kind of grew, right? So people would be able to request certain aspects. So I think what we'll do, to make this really fun and interactive and fast paced, instead of asking people to just send in sounds or whatever, we'll run a series of really quick polls, maybe just like 1 minute polls or something like that. So you'll have to be Johnny on the spot and click something. But we'll decide what those things are together as we're putting them up. So it'll probably be like A/B choices. And at the end of these little sprints, we end up with little beats, or we start making a song or whatever. So I think I want to go in and revisit a couple of things. I did a little surprise late night stream last night, and I worked on this a little bit more, the one that I worked on in the last stream. So we're revisiting that. I just want to put ears on the stuff that I did last night to see if it was actually any good or not. I put some hand drums in the middle of this little break here. I changed up some automation on some things. So I just kind of want to run through and listen to a couple key points and see if there's anything that I can do to make this a little bit more enjoyable. And then I need to figure out if I'm actually going to do something with it. So you guys need to tell me if this is good enough to pursue or not, in your humble opinions. The first thing I want to check out is this percussion breakdown here. think I got all the base. Excuse me. I think I got all the base automation in here. Yeah, don't be messing with her coffee order. She got a craving last night. It was predestined. Okay, maybe I'll just organize these last pieces here and put them in their right spot. So this was the djembes and stuff. And these were little hand drums off to the side. And we're going to put both these right up here. Okay. Gray, Maryland. Today it is just like blindingly gorgeous. Paul, thank you for the sub. Oh, hey, look at that. I got an emote. What do we got there? Is that sushi? Or is that just me wanting sushi? Dark and chilly England. Four months? Dude, that means we've got what, like 3 months in the books, right? If we're starting month 4. Amazing. Time flies. You guys have been sitting there listening to me jabber on for a few months. Speaking about jabbering on and you guys tuning in, next Wednesday, I've got an extra tasty one lined up for you. There will be 2 surprise guest appearances, a review, and a couple of interviews. Sushi last night. Oh, jealous. Jealous. Volcano roll? Man, I miss me some sushi and maki. There's this joint here called Sushi and Maki, and it's just the best sushi. I've had sushi all over the place, different parts of the world, and for some reason, man, this is just it's home cooking sushi. It is just downright good. All right, I think I'm going to close this project. And I'm going to explain how this all works, and we'll set up the first of the polls here. And we can do something really simple like a steady 4 on the floor kind of thing first until we all get the hang of this, and we'll work through a few of them. So I'll just set up a new poll here. Okay, so we will call this first poll first run, and the question will be, what are we making? I'm going to give it fairly broad space here. So I'll put in electronica, ambient, cinematic, what, edgy, or you guys help me out here. Let's do oh, we'll put that one down here, actually. Let's see, one more. Can put hip hop in there, and we can put some kind of, oh, I know, we'll put avant-garde in there. We'll make Uncle Chrome happy with this. If you guys really want to stack the deck in your favor, we'll put additional votes on if you want. And we'll run this one for just a couple minutes initially, and I'll get a new project open, and we'll get this going. Okay, cool. So at the top of your chat, you'll see a little poll. I'm sure most of you have seen these. Twitch poll's been around for quite a while. So you just let me know what you think we should be making, whether it be, what are the choices that I selected here? Electronica, ambient, cinematic, hip hop, or avant-garde. These are random. We can do something entirely different options the next time through. So after we select the, I guess, category or genre type or whatever, the direction, we can start picking out sounds, and you guys are free to submit sounds by either dropping links in chat to places like Freesound or Google Drive or Dropbox if you've got something saved up there, or you can send sounds directly to holler@ohmlab.tv. You can see the link on the screen there. And I will put a clickable link here in the chat. Hey, why didn't that work? Did I change it? Commands are not working. Interesting. All right, so there's the email link in the chat too. So you can submit sounds and you can vote here, and all of it will guide this whole thing, okay? So the more people vote, the better. Make it all democratic. I am going to move this over to a different project. And if this goes well, these are always fun live show things to play with. We'll see if it translates well to a live stream. And if you guys enjoy it and it's fun, then maybe we can make this a mainstay of the channel. Okay, here we go. This is the voting is for what we are about to make. This is a completely chat-driven creation process here. Just imagine so I'm trying to recreate something that I've done in live shows. So just imagine that I'm up on a stage and I'm saying, what are we going to make next? And you guys vote, okay? And then it gets more and more engaging as you go on, because you get a bit more invested in the music as it all happens. So, okay, so it looks like this first one is ambient. And these polls are going to be quick. So let's just bring up some ambient energy here. I'm going to put the next poll up. You can vote for as many sounds as many times as you like. And you can use channel points to do so. You don't need to drop any cash or anything like that if you're wanting to like really stack the votes in your favor. So I'm first going to put up, since we're going to do something ambient, before we get to instruments, I'm going to put samples up first, okay? So when I mean, or when I say samples, I mean specifically, are we talking field recording? Are we talking Foley? Found sounds? We could even put in like, let's see here, machinery, nature, and let's see here. Field recordings, fully found sound, machinery, nature. I think that's probably enough. Oh, maybe we'll put technology in there too. All right. So here we go. You guys have a few minutes to vote on this. So we're going to be making something ambient. And this poll in the chat right now is, what samples shall we use to get started with? All right, so we are making an ambient track of some kind. You guys still have about a minute and a half or so to vote. Field recordings, Foley and found sounds, machinery, nature, technology. These are like just general categories. And I'll populate our project with some sounds based upon all of this. I'm just sitting here playing with colors while you guys vote. You guys probably got less than a minute left. Currently, we're about to make something ambient, and you guys are going to vote. It looks like Field Recordings are going to win this. Nature and Technology as coming in second, most likely. I'm going to check out some good field recordings really quick. Let's do okay. So I've got some sounds here, and ironically, these are captured in a market that was just down the street from the market that I was in every single day living in Thailand. So I'm going to use this because this is very nostalgic for me. Convert file, please. Thank you. All right, well, I am starting to work in the field recording here. Let's just pick a BPM. I'll go for like 70 or something. While I'm setting this up over here, we'll get another poll going. And this one will be, what instruments shall we be using in this little track here? You can vote for as many as you like. We're just kind of prioritizing all of these. Okay, so since this is ambient, I've selected a few random categories for you guys to pick sounds from. So at the top of your chat right now, you'll see you can pick from SynthPad's drum rhythm or non-drum rhythm, noise, sacred things. So right now we've got an ambient challenge in front of us. We're going to make some kind of ambient music. And we're starting with a field recording, which was the winner of the last vote. And then Nature and Technology, I believe, were the runner-ups there. You can use channel points to vote more than once if you like. Or if you're feeling even more generous, you can tip. So Technology and Nature. I believe those were the responses. Nature. Okay, so here's a fun one. And this is going to have to be mixed in a clever way. That's too windy. So this right here is like summer night, right? There's you can even hear seeds popping open in the wild grass. That's what those little clicks are. So maybe we'll do this one. There's also just birds. This is early morning. With sacred include black metal style vocals. I like it. Looks like Sacred Things right now is winning. You guys are split on drum or non-drum rhythms. Some Buddha chants. That is pretty sacred. That's, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Sacred Things just won. So I'm going to bring in maybe these birds. I'm really kind of split here. Birds would be a more natural fit for this market, that's for sure. Because these are outdoor markets. Saf, you don't think the black metal vocals are sacred, huh? All right, let's. We're gonna pull up some sacred sounds, and we're gonna get those worked in. And I'm just gonna select something really quick before I put up the next poll. You guys can help me pick out this one. So I like the idea of the chanting, so we'll get some of that. I'm really unsure as to which of my drives has the temple recordings, so we might just jump on Freesound or something like that for that. Damien, you're back for more with a party of 33. Welcome. Hope you're all doing fantastically well today. Happy Friday. We're doing a new kind of challenge. This is harkened back to when I would do these live improv shows where the audience drove every decision that was made in the creation of the stuff. So what we're doing, we've already had a few rounds of voting in polls, but so far, the crew of people that was here before you guys arrived have chosen an ambient challenge, and to start the track with field recordings, with nature kind of taking the lead here. And they've just requested sacred sounds to be included in this. We're going to put up another poll in just a minute. You guys can vote on that. First, we're going to select a couple of sacred sounds together to put in here. And a big welcome and thanks to all of you for coming out to play. Phosphor, welcome back. Don't stop till you get enough. And some of these are a little spicy up top. I did not want to shave off any of the EQs or any of the frequencies. Anti-Hero, thank you so much for the follow. I explained that in the about file in this sample pack. Actually, it's a a lot of sacred sounds used in temples and stuff are not all they're a bit unsettling. They're not always just super serene and tranquil. They kind of spark something in you. So you might go, oh, on a couple of these. Maybe this big bell might be a good way to start this whole thing. We could toss these into samplers too. I'm thinking maybe this first one here. What else do we want out of here? Maybe a single chime. Okay, well, Saffron has wanted some Buddhist chants in there, so I'm going to put this calling sound in. This is actually a sound that I made out of absinthe. But if we're going to have some chanting, then I'm going to get some things that are a bit more, have greater ohm potential, if you will. You know, I actually think that that would be a good sound, and that was also from absinthe, so I'm just going to put an instance of absinthe up here really quick so I don't forget. And let's go back and grab maybe another sound. Maybe a flute. How about this really super low flute? Let's take the sub, the mid, and the low of these. Maybe we'll put a singing bowl in here as well. And so this kind of will be our sacred elements that we'll play with. We've got a couple of field recordings. I'll select some soundscapes and pads from this. And you guys were split in your voting on non-drum versus drum-based rhythms. So maybe we'll split the difference there, and we'll do like a found sound rhythm, right? So they don't necessarily, they can be a bit off the beaten path, if you will. Let's see what we can get up to. I think maybe just a simple drum strike. And the calling. Call people to the temple, if you will. Maybe we'll get a couple more of these. Let those ring out. We'll bring up these field recordings. So maybe this is maybe where we begin here. Get these volume levels right as we walk through this. scratch that. We're going to put this all here. We're going to put these over 1 bar. This will start here, like 4 or so. And we'll just bring that up by about bar 9 or so. Let's put the low resonant element here. And let's also add some reverberation to our call and to our drum. So this would be a fairly large kind of outdoor style. Not too open. I think this will be much better suited in a sampler, so let's just do that really quick. So our root C2. And we can even do a layered and we can also loop this as well. And let's go forward and backward on this. Let's go like an alternate so we get a more interesting take on this. Yeah, I think that'll work. So Yo, what up, Miko? There you go. Everybody joins the ranks of Portland and all the other cool kids. Oh, Swamp. Nice emote. Hey, Miguel. All right, I'm going to put up the next poll so you guys can vote on what's going next into this. I'm going to add a couple more sacred sounds into the mix here while you guys vote. So far, we have voted on having the ambient, or to create something ambient and to use field recordings as the initial starting point, and some sacred sounds have been worked into the mix at your request. We're going to work on some rhythmic stuff, and I'm going to have you guys vote on the next round of sounds. New poll. Let's see here. So this will be an arrangement question. Will this be melodic, or will it be meditative? Or should we maybe say tranquil? Well, I guess melodic can't be tranquil. Okay, so here's your next poll. It's a simple one for the arrangement. Will this be melodic or will it be meditative? In other words, is it going to be a complex arrangement, or is it just going to be something easy and simple to listen to? So you guys can vote on that. You've got a few minutes to do that, and I will put in a couple more sounds here. The single bell strike over here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the single bell strike. This does not sound the same. Root key C5. Why? There it is. Pretty interesting sound down low. It's a pretty wonky sound down here. It's a cool lo-fi sound for some beats right there, some lo-fi. All right, back to our bell. Yeah, those bell sounds down low, totally Twilight Zone. All right, we got to get these chants in. Oh, you guys have already run through your poll. I wasn't really even tuned in for it. So melodic over meditative wins. Just ended. Okay. So for the chants, for the Buddhist chance. Low, hearing crackles on those low bell sounds. Yeah, there's like a almost like a bit crushy. It's being stretched so much. Ooh, that's pretty cool down there. There's the sine wave nature of a perfect bell right there. Yeah, it's the processing. Byproduct of the saturation and reverb, I bet. Being stretched out really far, because that's like what, 5, 6 octaves down or so. Has anybody else in the chat spent much time in Southeast Asia? It's already December 4th. Oh man, that's right. Here, let's change the name of this one. Okay, cool. So, less than 3 months until March. Noel, you'd like to see some kick building ideas. Yeah, absolutely. I tend to keep things a little bit more simple than most, just because maybe it's because I'm older. And I remember when things sounded really freaking awesome and tasty all the time, and it was pretty simple all the time. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I love being a mad scientist and playing with weird, cool, convoluted concepts, but I feel like they don't need to be that complicated. We could definitely do some kick drums. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of hunkering down in the winter. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'd like to find a way for this kind of. I don't know if the polls are the best way to do it. I'm thinking about maybe even putting up like a little Google poll where you guys can answer a whole bunch of questions at the top of a stream, or like in a stream for the next stream or something like that. So a whole bunch of people can participate early. And then that can be how we kind of kickstart our community sound packs and stuff. through these cold, dark months ahead. From bare bones to kick noise, no samples. Yeah, absolutely, Noel. In fact, you know what? Maybe that'll be our next little challenge. Maybe I won't even give you guys the chance to choose ambient or electronic or whatever. Maybe the next challenge will just be kicks, and you guys will get to choose the source material for each one. That sounds like fun. Okay, let's finish this one really quick. It will probably only take us a few more minutes. And you guys chose melodic, so let's go into absinthe. And there's also some Buddha chants that Saffron wanted. If anybody is at a computer and not just a phone and would like to jump onto something like freesound.org or something and find us a chant, I just don't really want to spend the time going through all my drives to find my temple recordings. Okay. Maybe this ancient echoes. This could also work. We need to take a little off the highs there. Very resonant. Yeah, let's just put this somewhere that makes sense. I'm thinking maybe even a bar before, 2 bars before this. Kind of a secondary drone. This little tonal appeal in it. And then just automate this up and in to come in just a bit before those other guys. Jane, hello. Snare, the challenge is the community is driving the creation of this. They voted for something ambient, and then they voted for field recordings, and then sacred sounds to be included, and then Buddhist chants. We're about to put in these chants here, and then something melodic, and then it's done. So this is... okay. Am I logged in? Yes, I'm logged in. This is what, this is Eric? Yeah, Eric just found this. Let's give it a listen in context here. We could definitely do something like this. Let's see here. Let's download that, and then... oh, you know what I didn't check in that was attribution. Shane, if you want some feedback, go ahead and drop a link in the chat. We'll get to it in just a sec. There it is. Let's find a good place to put this. And we're going to need to do a couple little things to this. And take maybe just a touch off the top here. Bring this down. I'd like to just kind of cream this out a bit as well. I just want to do like a dueling stereo kind of thing. Maybe just some simple diffusion. Sparse. Cut out some lows. Maybe the very tops of our highs, and spread this out, bias towards our tail, and let's do a dotted eighth. Let's do a dotted quarter instead, and move this up to eighths and see what this sounds like here. This has got a non-commercial attribution on it, so if we actually finish something on this, maybe it'll just be for our stream here. Okay, so we've got this bell call here. This guy kicks in here. We could do a second one over here. Kind of mask that loop starting again. And then let's find a slightly melodic element that we can incorporate here. And then we'll probably be good with this one. Yeah, that throat singing, right? Jane, we will get to that as soon as we pop in some melodic element here right in the middle of this guy. Maybe it will be this flute. Let's see. Let's see this flute. That would be a nice complement to the throat singing. Maybe we'll bring that into a sampler very quickly. Boom, boom, boom. C2. Boom, right there. I think that'll probably work. And then we'll bring in a flute. Because this is pretty arbitrary here. Okay, let's see about doing something. No, super cheesy to pi, so we'll do something different. How about a... What is this one? Singing bowl. I think instead we'll just maybe grab alchemy. And we'll do something very chill. Maybe a mallet. And see, this is how I originally got into sound design many moons ago. I was like, why do people stop where they stop with their presets? Because I don't find these as usable as I would like to. Not One more. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Thank you for the follow. So this can actually be from the get on this one. Let's see if this is about right here. Yeah, I think that probably will work. Just pass this on through. And then I think we'll call this good. We'll jump over to some reviews, and then we will jump into some kicks, because I think Noel brings up a fantastic topic that's applicable to, well, everyone, right? Everyone uses kicks. Well, I mean, people that don't make music maybe don't use kicks, but are there people that don't make music? I'm just taking the edge off of this. You're not actually hearing this drum in most Buddhist temples, so I'm just gonna see if I can make it work. I think we'll have to come back to this and bounce something. We'll end up with a few more minutes of music for our channel. It's good hold music. Starting soon music. It's got a vibe. Purple feels teleported to an actual place. while ago, Shane showed up and he's dropped a link in the chat. Are you still here? Because if so, we can pull this up. That was fun. Thanks for playing along with that. We'll see if we can make that even smoother and smoother as we try it a few different ways. Okay, Shane, are you still here? Are you ready for feedback? Excellent. So, new one from Shane. You're just looking for just general feedback? Vaporwave, here we go. Stargazing through windows is such a wonderful name. This is good. This is good. First, thanks for sharing. Second, here's some feedback for you. I feel like the sub comes in just a touch hot initially. Even if it stays at that level and with that saturation and everything, maybe just ease into it instead of the more abrupt entry. Around 110 or so, I thought that the riser could come up just a bit, so it sits right on top of that moment. Maybe alternating accent claps. So just positioning your your claps in like a staggered velocity, right? So first clap is, whatever velocity, 70. The next one is at like 88 or something like that, right? Just a little bit of dynamics in there between the two of them. Around 150-ish, which was what, like right around here somewhere. This little spot where the piano, where it drops down with the piano here. Right here, you could do like maybe a tiny little filter sweep. Even if it was just on the piano. Or maybe the piano stays, but the atmospheric elements get grouped together and get swept up. I think it'd be a nice little dynamic change there. Maybe around 220-ish when the claps come back in, playing around with the idea with some very subtle reverse reverbs right before them, just to give them a little bit of build energy. And then towards the end, around 245-ish or so, those tiny little vocal sample chops up here. Those could come up. Those could come up just a little bit, or accent the fact that it is a vocal-based synth. I think either of those is something that would feel better right there. You could even put like a small formant filter on those. I'm not sure where you're getting those or what they're running through, but just one idea to help bring those a bit more up front. So overall, I guess the majority of my feedback is kind of centered around the idea of dynamic change. You've got a really nice palette of sounds and a really decent arrangement here. It's just about finding the balance now, I think, between the sub when it comes in and then subtle dynamic changes amongst the individual elements, right? Allowing the claps to stand out from each other just a little bit more. Feel out this idea of like a filter sweep or something like that right in this area, because I think that you've got this really nice little lush drop off, and it can feel even more floaty if there was some kind of frequency shift happening in this space. So, hope that all made sense. Saf says a little more depth to the pad. Let's listen to this pad. The keys are nice. I'd actually give those keys just a little bit of love with a bit crusher. Super, super subtle. Just to introduce some additional harmonics up top. And just a super, super thin layer of noise in there as well. Maybe like maybe 11 bits, right? 12 is kind of tape-ish and it's pretty clean. 8 is too noisy and degraded, but maybe like an 11, maybe downsampled, like a 2 times downsample maybe, and then just eke that in at like 10 to 15% wet or something like that. It would add a really nice finish to those keys. Nice, nice. Awesome. Yeah, I really like this idea that Eric is floating out here. A tempo shift in this spot right here. Something I agree. This spot right here has more potential, and maybe that's why I'm thinking a little filter sweep or something to call more attention to it. But if you did slow it down, if there was a tempo shift, then it would elongate this, and that would give it a really nice float effect. And then, of course, coming back out of that, you'll need to add a little something if you do something like that. it could be as simple as like gliding up to that bass note to come out of it, right? There could even be a real-time time shift effect. It wouldn't actually be affecting the arrangement too much. You could just modulate the size parameter on even just one of your reverbs is enough, but whatever is on probably the most atmospheric element in the mix. At that point, it might be the keys. As long as you're on a parallel process there with the reverb, you can modulate the reverb size smaller, would make the pitch go up. And if you were to put like a pitch bend on the, or a glide up to the bass note coming out of this little floaty bit, then it would really sync up well with the time change. Oh, let me show you really quick how to do a time change in Logic. So there's actually this little drop down up here, okay, and that then gives you access to tempo. And you can see here that as soon as you open a tempo lane, it's an automation lane. And you can quite literally just single click in here and make changes to tempo, right? It's a pretty cool thing. Now, when you first get started up here, it's going to look like these are all hard. You know, like 90-degree corners here, so you're jumping from one BPM to the next. But you can, as soon as you grab one of these and just move it just a hair's breadth, it turns into a curve. So you can become fairly tempo fluid very, very easily in Logic. Is that a thing? Tempo fluid? Hope you caught that. If not, you could always watch the VOD of this one. And you are welcome to circle back and bring that back by and get some more feedback after you make more changes. The more I think about it, I like Eric's idea about a little tempo shift there. Nice work on that one. All right, so yeah, it is. It's so easy, right? Yeah, you bet, Shane. Absolutely. Is Noel still in the room? Because he wanted to see some kick magic. And I guess regardless if he's still here or not, he's probably gonna come back and watch the. Oh, he is. All right, so let's actually leave this. I'm gonna start a second one here. I guess maybe this would actually be a third project now. Busy stream. Okay, well, we can start really old school and just start with the simple synth first. And let's save this before I forget. So, where did that go? Oh, I saved it inside of there. Interesting. Oh, hilarious. So we'll call this one Kick Magic. What up, Paul? You dip out for a minute. We just finished the ambient challenge. We did a little track feedback for Jane, and now we are about to do a little kick challenge requested by Noel. He wants to know some of the stuff I do to make kicks. Sup, Vids? Welcome back. Man, didn't I see a bunch of you in the middle of the night, too? Just a few hours ago? All right. Let's start up with something where we can't really look at the sound, so to speak. no visual cues to guide us. Bit more the analog mindset. All right, so there's the basic. I'm glad you guys are digging the channel. All right. So for this, there's two old school I guess mindsets. I don't know what the right word is here. It's largely just based upon the onboard controls that we had back on hardware since back in the day. But just the idea of using your main amp envelope to shape everything, or to have a second envelope to kind of dial in modulation secondary to volume shape. Regardless, there's two main ways you can go about doing this. I know Noel knows all this, but a little shout out for the rest of you guys here. All right, so basically all you really need to do is you can drop the oscillator an octave if you want to. It's a somewhat arbitrary move nowadays. And then you're just going to pitch up. You're going to modulate up in pitch. And it might seem counterintuitive, but if you think about a drum head and the beater hitting the head, it's the same as pushing your palm into a head of a like a djembe or something. It increases the pitch because you're tightening the skin, right? So you go up in pitch and you come back down quickly. So it's a pluck shape, and it's going to sound pretty lame up top, but down low you hear it very quickly. And if you start with just a simple sine wave, then it's really easy to hear, you know, what kind of transient you have and decay. All right, so for a super basic body, I would do something like this, where you've got a super simple bare bone sound. And then I would build up a few macros around this just to control attack, decay, release, and level. So you can get, you know, glides and longer 808 sustains if that's what you're aiming for, or super tight kicks for techno or whatever. There's also the idea of filter shaping as well, which is a really fun way to get alternate style kicks, as well as just tighten up your kicks in general, I think. Let's just take a look at that really quick. And you can have fun with this. It doesn't have to be a normal shape. If you were going to use a normal shape, you could simply use a volume. It's mostly unnecessary, to be perfectly honest. If you want to get funky, though, you can do some pretty cool things with the sustain loop feature inside of Massive. It's actually a pretty cool thing. LFOs are also an option. Not something a lot of people would normally think about. But I tend to keep my stuff very simple, honestly. And you can saturate. Obviously, people saturate their kicks all the time, which is like a really big benefit of starting with a sine wave, other than just keeping it clean. but playing with the idea of using some envelopes to introduce just a touch of a different wave shape, I think, is a fantastic way to get more unique kicks. And it really doesn't take much. Swamp of Life, if you have Amazon Prime, you get free access to Prime Gaming, I think is what it's called now. I think it used to be called Twitch Prime, I think. Twitch Gaming, Prime Gaming, something like that. Anyway, you go there and you connect your Amazon and your gaming account together. And then when you come back here, I'm not sure if it's a mobile thing or if you have to be on a desktop, to be perfectly honest, but you just go in here and you hit the sub button, and then you should have an option to use Prime. And I think it might say... Hey, look at that. Phosphor Visual. Works on desktop. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Saffron, thank you. 5 lucky winners, huh? A 2020 mask selfie. That's awesome. Okay, so anyway, once you have a basic kick, you can get it out of a synth. All right, this one's a little rumbly. Let's tighten this up just a little bit. Might even take a little high pass on this one. Never underestimate the power of a very simple filter trick, right? If you cut away the lowest frequencies that are unnecessary in a kick or a bass, you're going to get more bass power out of it because more energy can be allocated to reproducing that waveform. And then you can use a resonant peak. So put a high pass on your kick, take a little off the bottom, and put a resonant peak there. So you don't miss the weight of the low end, and you get a much tighter, less flubby kick if you're actually synthesizing from scratch. Okay, so you've got a basic kick. So we'll just record that really quick. Oh, I'm not even routed to audio, so let's just bounce that. All right, so here's our kick. And what we're going to do is give this thing a little transient love. Don't need any kind of added sustain or anything like that. In fact, you could even take a little off. And that's just to tighten it up. So, and then it's just beyond that, it's all about timbre and additional shaping. So I would want a little high end on this in a few different ways. I will oftentimes just do most of this through parallels rather than stacking up a whole bunch of stuff in a project. So let's just put like maybe a bit crusher on this one. So really what we want on this is the bulk of the top. So when you're cutting away those frequencies that are the main body of the kick on your parallel channel, on your processing channel, you're allowing the original sound to just kind of sail on through unaffected, and you can add a top quite easily. So you get these really full bodied kicks. And because it's on a parallel channel, you can really kind of mix your heart's content. The other thing that I really like about doing everything in a parallel channel is that it's really easy to then bounce each one of these elements out, so you can then start building a layering library, if you will, and kind of build a cookbook over time of different recipes, right? Of, okay, so this right here is a topper. It's a 7-bit 6 times 50% saturation, right? So you could bounce that little sound and save it as a layering element. And that's a super fun thing to play around with, because then you can start like processing those things with like granular and whatnot. I really like using pedals, like guitar pedals and stuff like that, for mangling these things and then adding them back in very thin layers. So anyway, breaking this out of solo again. And I'm also never afraid to get a bit crazier with the saturation either. And something like thermal is ideal because you've got multi-band saturation. You can also use something like Trash or Saturn or any of the others out there, Sound Toys. And because you've got the EQ running before whatever you're putting in here, you get really awesome quick results. Like this one is such a great sound, right? It's like, let's see what this sounds like here. That'd be a pretty clean layer to put in there. But you can just jump in and start messing with higher bands too. So let's turn this one on. Let's make it just a high band here. And put a shaper on it. So you can add in things like transient clicks. Parallel everything is the sauce. Signed into Twitch Prime using Amazon Prime, but I still don't see any option or button to sub using Prime. Maybe it's because I was gifted a sub previously by someone else. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. And you have one per month too. So once you use that free one from your Prime Gaming or whatever the hell it's called nowadays, then that's it for that month. The way I see it is that if you have Amazon Prime, they're basically giving you some free sound packs by letting you subscribe to the channel. See, so you can get this really nice kind of transient click from a parallel process, and then again, you just solo and bounce, right? Because you can add that to any basic sine wave kick, and any kick, right? Any kick. Okay, so that's one more idea there. I mentioned that I like using pedals. And I also use amps sometimes. If you're really looking for some kind of like special character, you can do some pretty neat things. Put a little flange after some fuzz, or maybe before it. And then the next thing I like to do is actually toss a mixer into a pedal board so you can really fine tune what you're outputting. So here's nothing. Multiband compression is part of the daily life. Nate, welcome back. Thanks for the sub, brother. Nice badge. Nice badge. You know, I was just commenting to Paul earlier. He resubscribed this morning. So we've finished 3 months together here on this channel. Eric, I agree. Seeing as Amazon owns Twitch, it should be easier. Everything should be easier with Amazon. They throw you all of these benefits and then they make it hard for you to actually get them all. What's that collection? Oh, this is a pedal. It's just the Logic pedal board. Oh. This might be the quote of the day. It's a rather long quote of the day, but this is from Purple Prose. Berserk, because phosphorus, or phosphor visual, said one of the kick sounds was berserk, I think. I just learned where that word came from. Eating mushrooms and going into battle. Was it Vikings that did that? Anyway, I think that's why Super Mario gets stronger when he eats mushrooms. That's flippin' awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so those are fun, right? Pedal board, like you can start to really go crazy in your mind with what you can actually accomplish with a pedal board. putting a little EQ into the mix. When you put a mixer into a pedal board, 9 out of 10 times, it includes some kind of stereo control on there, which is really cool because that means you can now process the sides of your sounds separate from the center. You don't need a parallel, or you don't need a multiband compressor. You don't need any stereo imaging plugs or anything like that to accomplish it, right? But just getting away from the normal processing options, like actively moving a wah pedal. I don't know. There's so many different things that you can do with it. The other thing that I really like to do is play around with tools specifically designed for shaping and discovery, like ShaperBox. These are always flipping great, right? Because you've got so many different types of things to play with, like BitCrush or Time or whatever. And it's got, you know, these really nice, intuitive mix controls as well. So you can put something like a little stutter in place. Change the timing of it. Yeah, it's too fast. Now the quarter's working. There we go. The benefit of using weird, crazy shaping tools like this with a very simple bare bones kick is that you can oftentimes introduce the transient click without ever even trying. It's actually a really nice little byproduct. And then when you compress all of that, it can actually start to sound really, really great. And yes, Paul, I would agree that multiband is kind of the king in this space here. And specifically 9 out of 10 times your mid-low frequencies, if you're compressing them at a higher rate than everything else, you're going to get a really solid kick. I would probably make a tighter core kick, honestly. Okay, so that's just starting with like a simple massive. You can take any sound though. Maybe we could take something fun. It doesn't even have to be percussive, but we can certainly start with something percussive. Even just noisy stuff. Like this would be an interesting challenge right here. Taking something like this. You can leave a sound alone. Oops. Or you can kind of force a hard starting point. Find a position where you want your kick to be. If there's enough frequency information there. I don't think we're going to get there with this one. Well, we could certainly do it right here. And then we could just resample this. These are always some pretty fun challenges. Resampling is kind of the king in this part, or in this space. You can kind of hear the different qualities of like boxy and muffled and whatnot in here. Yeah, that just stops that sub dead in its track, doesn't it? I went a little overboard with that bass. There is a new tool. Pretty much all of the different DAWs and platforms have them now, right? Like NI's got TRK. Kind of simplifies this process. One thing I like to do is actually just record stuff. Boxes are fun. Welcome back, Gorf. Gesper keyboard, nice. Morning, Zev. A really soothing voice, perfect for this. Really, oh, thank you, Gorf. it's my years in radio, probably. What kind of session, Paul? You just going to record some stuff today? Twitch friendly. Doing some good updates, Gorf. It's good not to kid yourself. Nate, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. You've been busy lately. Good for you. That's awesome. Okay, oscillator. No, dude. I like to stop every once in a while and see what you guys are even talking about. No need to apologize. The ocean drum sound effect. Ocean drum, huh? Ocean drum. You mean like from a specific, is there like a track called Ocean that you're looking for, or are you looking for just you've got an example here. Oh, Remo. Oh yeah, of course.
The Remo ocean drum simulates the soothing sounds of rolling surf and the crashing of waves. An incredibly versatile instrument, the ocean drum features an acousticon shell with a pre-tuned clear mylar resonant drum head in either a fish graphic or standard finish. The drum is filled with round pellets coated.
So these are actually pretty easy sounds normally to recreate. White noise is your best friend in this scenario. Look at that teamwork. I deleted, you banned. Nice one. High five, Sap. Let's come back to this kick drum in just a second. This white noise thing is applicable to everyone as well. So you can use anything to get your white noise. Anything at all. Since we have this sitting right here, we'll just use massive. White, amp, up. All right, so the key is going to be subtle modulation. You could do a little subtle modulation on filter as well, but the large majority of it is going to be volume envelope driven, really. And you can actually automate the large majority of all of that stuff. What am I saying here? With a tremolo. So let's just put in a few bars here. Any key will do. Okay, so we've got these LFOs working. Oh, this should be a high pass, right? This won't sound very good at first, but it will sound better in just a second. And then EQ on either side. You just kind of have to build your own wide bandwidth, basically. You're going to want to adjust resonant peak if you have one. You can modulate this as well. I personally really like then getting in and pitting the various LFOs against each other, which is how you start to get into the more believable realm of like change over time. So you take, for instance, LFO 7 and you modulate the rate of 6 just a little bit, and you take 5 and you modulate that with 6 or something like that, right? And these are just very minimal changes. And then on your amp envelope, you can, nowadays, it's pretty easy to find an amp that will be friendly for this, but the sustain loop is actually brilliant for this inside of Massive because it's got an infinite cycle setting. And then you can modulate the loop and morph between envelope shapes. So the way you do that is you just kind of grab a couple of these. I'll just grab a couple at random here. And now we're going to take these LFOs that we've created and start modulating between these wave shapes and the size of the loop and even the level. And because these are independently controlling each other, you're starting to get away from the predictable, and the more you do that, the more random it seems, right? And that's really what you want. Oh, the white noise just came from Massive. That's all. So, so it's just straight. There's no oscillator. The LFOs that I've got in play here are all doing one thing. They're adding very, very subtle movement. So this is a high pass, just modulating some of this frequency in and out. Same with the resonance. Same with the noise. All three oscillators. I've got the rate of LFO 5 being modulated by 6. I've got 6 being modulated by 7. I've got 7 being modulated by 6. They're all at a low rate, so this all is very gentle. On my amp envelope, I've got a long attack, so it comes up gently. We'll put a nice release out there so it washes away. I've used the sustain feature, so as soon as it makes its way through the decay stage, it's going to go directly into this repeating loop. So I'll just hit play here. The next most important thing after that is to put a cap on the top and the bottom frequencies. And then oftentimes I'll actually scoop just a little bit out of the center too. Okay, one of those is moving way too fast. What is it? I'm just going to bring these all the way down here. They're all going to be at slightly different rates. And if you're hearing a little bit too much detail up top, carve it away, take your dB over octave, your decibels per octave shape down, or level down. Once you feel like you have a somewhat likable representation of the ebb and flow of waves, then you're just going to add a small delay of some kind. It can be stereo, ping pong, tape. It almost doesn't matter. Just make it somewhat short and not too much, like not too long. And the reason why I say that is because this is more for like the kind of slapback effect that you have at the coast. Spread that out a bit. Don't include any low frequencies there. Don't include all the frequencies for sure. It's okay to put flutter in there. So this is starting to sound a little bit more like water. There's too much resonance in here. Once you find some sort of spot, right, you can bounce this, and then you can take that into a sampler, and then you can get the ocean drum effect, because the ocean drum effect is something that you can deliberately like tilt and move at very specific points in time. So yeah, and since it's just the beads or bearings floating around in there, you don't really need anything aquatic. It's like a rain stick. It's like a rain stick agitating a drum skin instead of resonating inside of wood, right? So you just need something space-wise for it to resonate in. So a plate is good for that type of thing. Just a small one. And then when you go to use this in a mix, because you've used such a small plate and because you've used such a minimal delay, you're really just kind of encapsulating the sound. So when you apply your own reverb to really wash it out and make these really lush, you know, atmospheres and stuff, it'll play well. Now, you can make very minimal adjustments to the settings that you have in play right now. The most important will probably be the tremolo. So if you want it to be more significant, like the volume change, you increase the depth. So if you want more wave-like action, you increase the depth. You can decrease the bars. So anyway, what you do is you find a few different rates and depths that work for you, and you resample these. You bounce each version. So you take like 4 bars at 73%. You bounce that. And go back up to 2 bars or 1 bar and go at like 88 or 90% or whatever, right? And then you bring those into a sampler, and then you layer those on, or you put them on their own keys, so you can then trigger them. See, like this 1 bar right here is a really good one for like that tilt effect that you saw in the video where they tilt the drum. And you'd probably want to bounce one at like half. Maybe dotted one. Anyway, you just get a few different rates, right? And get a couple longer, long form recordings in there as well. So you can then, with a keyboard, kind of articulate through the different types of deliveries and changes that you want, right? Hope that helped. No, the high wash sound as the waves moves off the beach, almost a sizzle. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, if we were going for real water, absolutely. Um, that kind of effervescent sizzle. I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, this would actually be best done in a parallel. We were talking about parallel compression and parallel processing earlier. If you were to send this out on a parallel and then put a multi-band uh, compressor on that channel, and now you're just going to solo your highest band, let's say between 4K and 20K. So now only audio is passing through that one bandwidth. So now we can freely process just that little bit with, say, a bit crusher. Okay, and then this can then be processed even more, and you can use something like a tremolo for something like this. It's going to get way up in our rate here. Back off our smoothing just a touch. 0. You'd actually want to get away from a rate like 1/64th is a bit, I don't know. You want to get up here and modulate just slightly. And it's a very, very small amount of depth. And then once you've got this running through a reverb the size of actual beach, like moving away from this bright plate, I would move into a large, kind of an outdoor thing. And where is our EQ over here? Let's bring back all of our frequencies again. Slow down our tremolo a bit. And I would use less modulation on all of this. We're going for real ocean. I actually really don't like the one that they call Seashore for that. That's a little more believable. I think I've got too many modulators on that one to make it sound really real. But that should get you a little bit closer. Oh, snap, it's one. I'd really like to get back into more of the kick challenge thing. I've got to get going for a session here just a little bit. So let's cheat and bring in just a super simple additional kick really quick. Just to run through a couple of processing options. This chemist one is already quite tight. So once you've shaped your kick to a point that you like, I don't know how many of you are using Guitar Rig to process kicks with, but it's fantastic. I want to run through a couple of those with you. I'm going to go hit the bathroom really quick before I do that, and I'll be right back. Couple minutes. And I'm back. Okay. So once you've got a basic kick, anyone can get their hands on Guitar Rig. There's a free player version. And you can go through and kind of pick through the individual components and whatnot. Oh, I actually meant to do this on a send, but let's just do that really quick. Okay, so here's our guitar rig on that send. And like I was saying, you can go through and you can play with the individual things, right? Like using these more analog style compressors and distortion units and even cabinets and stuff. The modulation controllers in here are ace. It's just a fantastic suite of tools. You can also, if you have no idea where to get started, you can go into some of these presets. And there's effects, and there's even some for drums. So when you click here on effects and then drums, it's going to give you a few that they think are kind of already geared towards what you might be working on. Let's bring this back to like a half bar maybe. It makes it very simple to audition a whole bunch very quickly. And the reason why I bring this up is because if you're not sure where to go with your processing or how to get started, or if you're really good with processing stuff, but you're just looking for new ideas and you don't know how people go about getting certain types of outcomes, find a preset that gives you something inspiring or maybe even sounds pretty close to what you were hoping to find, right? And then go in there and turn off the units that you're pretty sure are not creating the bulk of what you like there. You know, like reverb, right? Compression maybe, right? And get to the guts of what it is in that rack that's doing it, right? Maybe it's chorus and pitch modulation, and the combination of two, or the combination of those two things just in such a way brings your drums to life like you've never heard before, and you would never have tried that on your own, right? So it's just a really nice way to go in, get some really quick ideas, and then you can do a really basic deconstruction, try to figure out which tool is actually doing it, and then that gives you an opportunity to then recreate that later, right? But regardless of whether or not you actually want to intentionally create all of these things later, it's a brilliant discovery tool. And I would also highly recommend moving away from whatever a tool or a library like this is trying to sell you on in category wise, right? Like, don't look at just the drums. Go into remix and play around. That's pretty dope. That's awesome. Abstract. And because you're doing all of this in a parallel fashion, oh, that's awesome right there. That's super great. You can hear your kick come through just fine. See, like this right here is a good example of something that you might want to just stop at, right? This had a really cool sound initially. If you take away the delay and the echo, what does this sound like? got a weird bounce thing to it. Right, you hear something like this, and you can instantly start getting ideas. Like if you were to toss a resichord on there, for instance, and switch it to a string instead of a chord. Now pick a key, right? Let's move away from that. Let's go up an octave. Go down. Anyway, just some additional creative juice for you guys heading into the weekend. You do not have to actually know what you're doing to flip through presets and be inspired, right? So if you don't already have Guitar Rig, go grab it. It's brilliant, and there's lots and lots and lots of tools in your DAWs that will allow you to do the same thing. So if you compare, if you go onto the Native Instruments website and you compare what's inside of Guitar Rig, like Guitar Rig Pro and Guitar Rig Player, the free one, you can look and see which components, which tools are not included in the free player, and then just open up your DAW and start bringing those into the mix as well. It's a really good way to just start getting your feet under you for processing these sounds in a new and more creative way, really. Joppa, thank you for the follow. And thank you for all of you who followed for the first time today and subscribed for the first time today. And thank you for all of you who resubscribed today. I do appreciate the support. And I appreciate you guys spending the last few months with me here. It's pretty great. We'll be back again on Monday, unless I pop on to surprise you before that. You can introduce Guitar Rig and Reaktor into the same chain because you can load the plugins on the same channel, right? The other thing that I would mention to you is that pretty much everything that you can accomplish inside of Guitar Rig can be accomplished inside of Reaktor. And if you have Reaktor, go log into the Native Instruments website and go into the Reaktor user library and just take a stroll. It might take you a few days, but take a stroll through the various effects and whatnot that are available there. The reason why I make mention of that is because Reaktor is an open sandbox environment, right? So you can tether or string along, chain along an incredible number of different tools and create your own effects that you're not finding elsewhere, right? And you can piece together Frankensteins in that environment the same kind of way that you can with Guitar Rig. Yeah, exactly, Gorf. You just stack your plugins the same way that you do any other. Like if you run out of bands in an EQ, you load another EQ, right? Same thing. Yeah. All right, kitty cats. I'm gonna bounce. I will see you guys on the flip. Exactly. Yeah, just start flipping through presets. Find something inspiring. Stop when you find something good and just dig in. Remember that there's these little disclosure triangles on all these things. So if you load a big preset, especially if there's modulators in play, right? Like this split channel here, this LFO, you can open this up and see what the LFO assignments are. You can look and see all of the more granular details of each one of these things. inside of your rack. All right. On that note, I'll see you on the flip. Thank you, Paul. Nice, Eric. Glad you enjoyed it. I hope you all have a great weekend. Rainbows to you too, Heidi. Thank you. Subvids. I'll see you on the flip. All you lurkers out there. Holy wow, there's a ton of you in there. There's like 30 of you in there just lurking. All right. Well, to all of you then. I think I meant putting reactor as a rack part. Yeah, I hear you, Eric. It would be cool to make them all interchangeable. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're in the future. I'll see you on the flip, you guys. Y'all have a great weekend. Sorry to rush out the door. I still love you guys. I just got a session I got to get into. So I'll see you Monday. Peace out.